It just feels like we're always having to fight. And that's the hard part, is little things that you would think would be easy aren't.
For Marla Smith, an accessibility advocate in Edmonton, she says lack of provincial legislation around accessibility in Alberta is a huge challenge.
Right now it's very reactive rather than proactive. Instead of having legislation that states, yes, you must be accessible, or you must have a plan in place to deal with disabilities in general and have your staff or volunteers trained, we have a system where the person with the disability has to request the accommodation and then work with the business or the agency to try and get that accommodation made.
This is something Edmontonian Zachary Weeks also agrees with.
Every day for me is a constant game of planning. I plan my day out minute by minute. I plan my day around which areas have an accessible washroom, which doesn't, which has good parking.
With Alberta being only one of 2 provinces without provincial legislation, the Advocate for Persons with Disabilities 2022 to 2025 strategic plan says creating provincial legislation is one of its key priorities, stating that there is no central provincial legislation concerning disability in Alberta and recommending a proactive approach. The plan also highlights that Ontario's Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, which has been a model for other provinces that have or are in the process of passing similar legislation, was brought into effect almost 20 years ago in 2005.
We're really far behind. We don't have any framework in place.
Well, where we're lacking in legislation right now is that we don't have a legislation.
In a statement, a spokesperson to Jason Nixon, the Minister of Seniors, Community and Social Services, says the province is committed to working with the disability community to provide appropriate supports, saying the minister just recently wrapped up roundtables with disability advocates to talk about accessibility. The province also says the Advocate for Persons with Disabilities is looking into what accessibility legislation could look like in Alberta, looking to other federal and provincial jurisdictions.
There's been a ton of work done in various jurisdictions already. There's no need to recreate the wheel.
2 years doesn't sound like a long time, but when every day you face barriers, it's a tremendously long time.
Smith says she hopes Alberta will continue to look to the other provinces' frameworks to expedite the drafting of new legislation, which would improve the lives of all Albertans facing accessibility challenges. From Edmonton, Adrienne South, City News.